everyone, I'm here today to do a bookshelf tour of this shelf here. That is my hardback collection. I don't think it'll take me too long to get through these. I don't feel like there's an awful lot to show you, so hopefully I can get it done relatively quickly. I've not even got much decor on this shelf. We're literally looking at some candle boxes that are actually empty. I've left them on there. Along with one of these that used to be in Popcorn, my little hamster's cage, and it just looks quite cute as decoration, I think. Now, it is worth noting that this shelf doesn't have all of my hardbacks on it, but it does have the vast majority, and it's certainly sort of like the bit that I think of as like a sort of little pride and joy section of my shelf. So I'm going to start this off with the Robbie Williams story, Unauthorized and Unofficial by Emma Morgan. And this is a book that I got a few years ago off my mum, I think. But it's got a lot of pictures of Robbie in and not too much writing overall. So it's a little bit criminal that I've actually still not read this, considering, oopsie. Oh, the naked's the same as the cover then. Considering I'm a massive Robbie fan, it's a little bit criminal that I've still not got around to reading this because it is short and it is full of pictures. Next we have Ollie Murs, On the Road, and this is a signed copy that I made to someone, either Luke or my mum, I can't remember. I'm sure he will chirp in if it was him because he's sat behind me, but either Luke or my mum got me this for birthday or Christmas one year, signed. Basically because I saw that it was coming out, and if you pre-ordered you got a signed copy, and I tagged them and went, one of you need to get me this. Not read this till either though. Then I've got another Robbie Williams book. This one is You Know Me, and I think this was an unofficial one as well. I can't remember. Oh no, it might be official because it's by Chris Heath, who's done some of the other Robbie books, so not read this either though. So then we have sort of like a more sort of biography kind of stack, I suppose, and this is Jason Donovan, Between the Lines, My Story Uncut. And this one's an autobiography actually. This is Jason that actually did this himself. It's a little bit criminal that I've still not read this either in that case. It's a typical sort of biography, autobiography layout where it's got writing and then sort of pictures in the middle of like photos and stuff. I used to be a massive Jason Donovan fan when I was younger, back when he'd left Neighbours and he was sort of making music at the same time as Kylie. I'd got a lot of his music on vinyl. Next we have another book that I, guess what, haven't read. This is On the Edge, My Story by Richard Hammond. Richard Hammond is known in this country for being on a show called Top Gear, and now more recent years The Grand Tour, along with Jeremy Clarkson and James May. And this came out not long after he'd had a really sort of horrific accident and quite frankly was lucky to be alive, and I thought it'd be a really interesting read. That interesting that I've still not picked it up. Hope to one day though, because he's definitely someone who I find quite interesting. Then we have My Take by Gary Barlow. My mum loves Gary Barlow. I love Take That, and my favourites would be sort of Robbie and Mark. I'm not that fussed about Gary. I will be interested to read this, but I've not got around to it yet. And I am actually seeing him tomorrow as I film this. So by now you'll probably have seen a reading vlog where I have taken my mum to go and see him. But yeah, he's okay. He's just not my favourite member of the band. Next we have Living the Dream by Chantel, and this is a contestant who went into a celebrity Big Brother house one year, but she wasn't a celebrity, but she had to pretend that she was as like part of one of her challenges, and I actually really liked her, and I don't really know why I bought this book, and of course I've not read it yet, and I probably will read it one day just to prove a point, but looking back, I'm like, why did I get this book? Next we have a book that I think my mum got me for Christmas just gone, or was it birthday just gone? One of them. And this is Our Story by Blue. And Blue were a really, really popular band when I was younger, and I loved them so much, and I can't wait to give this a read. Next we have Feel by Robbie Williams, and again, as I said earlier, Chris Heath. I've read this one. Miracle, eh? One that I finally read. Really enjoyed it. I feel like you really get to know the proper Robbie in the books about him. I feel like he doesn't hide anything. He's quite open. He will tell you anything you want to know, really. This is Robbie's more recent book, Reveal, again by Chris Heath. And this one is signed. I got this one as a pre-order for birthday or Christmas. I made someone get it for me again. Probably Luke this time, I'm thinking. But yeah, I just really wanted to have a signed copy of one of his books. Still not read it though. Then we have Pete, My Story. This was another Big Brother contestant. He'd got Tourette's, and I thought that this would be really interesting. And again, I must have thought it was that interesting that I still haven't bothered reading it. I will, but again, it's another one of those where I'm looking back thinking, why did I get this one again? Next we have a book that I bought for myself last year, and that is Girl Online Going Solo by Zoe Sugg, aka Zoella. I bought this myself last year because I'd listened to the first audiobook, and no, that's not why I bought this actually. I had listened to the first audiobook, but just remembered. I bought this because it was a signed copy. I'm a sucker for signed copies of books. I really enjoyed this though. I don't care what people say about the series or about Zoella herself. I really enjoyed this for what it was, which was a bit of light entertainment. Then we have something totally different here. This is The Loney by Andrew Michael Hurley. Can't remember what this is really about. I won it in a Goodreads giveaway. Can't remember at all what it's about, but a few people have sort of reviewed it on BookTube. I saw a few people with it maybe a year ago, I'm not really sure. And yeah, I'm really excited to give this a go sometime. I think it's a gorgeous edition to have, so no regrets. Here we have Favourite Tales, and I'm not even sure who these are by. This is my mum's book. Oh, it's by quite a few different authors, and this is really quite old and decrepit looking now. This was published in 1969, and it's like proper old paper, yellowing, really thin, smells a bit vanilla-y. Ooh, nearly dropped it. And yeah, it's seen better days, but I'm still really glad to have this. Next we have a book that I picked up that was a mega bargain, and this was only £5, and it's A Street Cat Named Bob, and also The World According to Bob, a hardback bind-up copy of the two. And yeah, I paid £5 for this, and this is one of my favourite books. I absolutely adore this story. I think it's wonderful, and I can't push it onto enough people. I want people to read this. I think it's really inspirational, and I'm just really glad to have a hardback copy that costs just £5. I mean, come on, bargain. This is a book I treated myself to for my 30th birthday when I went to London, and the first time I went to Foyles, and this is The Heart Goes Last by Margaret Atwood. Margaret Atwood is one of my favourite authors, so I was absolutely ecstatic to be able to get a signed copy. I've still not read it though, and I'm a bit annoyed with myself for that because I really, really want to. Then we have All the Ugly and Wonderful Things by Bryn Greenwood. This is a book that I'd seen Aoife over at Fred Weasley Died Laughing review, and I'd had my eye on it, and Luke, my boyfriend, had asked her what he should get me for birthday or Christmas, and she said this, and I'm really, really happy to have this, especially in a nice hardback edition. I've not read it yet though. I really, really want to. I just don't have enough time to read all the books I want to read at the pace and speed that I want to get to them, but I am really excited to get to this sometime. Next we have My Not So Perfect Life by Sophie Kinsella, and this is an edition that I pre-ordered so I could get a signed copy, because this is another one of my favourite authors, and I absolutely adore most books that Sophie Kinsella puts out. This is probably one of my favourites actually, and so I'm even more happy to actually have a signed copy of a favourite. This is a book that I won in a Goodreads giveaway. This is Patricia Cornwell's Flesh and Blood, and this is again another really gorgeous hardback copy, and I feel so lucky to have won this, though I haven't yet read it. This one was another Goodreads giveaway, and this was The Invisible Guardian by Dolores Redondo. And I can't remember what this one is about, but again, it's a really lovely hardback edition, and I'm just so lucky to have won a couple of hardbacks. Speaking of hardback wins, this is another one. This one is Assassin's Reign by Michael Arnold, and I can't remember what this one is overly about either, except that it's part of the Civil War Chronicles. And again, another lucky hardback win. Same with this one. This too was another Goodreads giveaway win, and this is Endgame Burma by Michael Pearson, and this is a gorgeous hardback one too. Next we have a book that my mum bought me years ago, because I've always had a real soft spot for Johnny Depp. I know he's a controversial sort of person to like right now, but all the same I do, and I think he's a fabulous actor. I've never read this though, and I really should get round to that.
Wife beater.
Oh, what?
He's a wife beater.
You made me jump!
Oh, he's a wife beater though, you did not mention this.
I said he was a conflicting person or a controversial person to like right now. Next we have a book that I think is absolutely gorgeous. This is Great Expectations by Charles Dickens. I got this copy, which quite frankly is a gorgeous copy to have. I mean, like, it's really relatively decent quality paper and whatnot. I got this copy from a magazine subscription that I did at some point that was doing, I can't remember whether it was just Charles Dickens or whether it was doing all classics, but I got this one and the next book I'm going to show you, and then I sort of stopped because it got a bit expensive. But I think I paid something really cheap for these first two editions, and like I said, they're just beautiful. The other one I've got is Oliver Twist, again by Charles Dickens, and again with that same luscious end papers and decent quality pages. Real bargains to have, and I've read both of these editions, loved them. Love a bit of Charles Dickens.
I'm related.
No, you're not. Prove it.
You prove I'm not.
Next we've got Stories for You by Enid Blyton, which is a really very old, decrepit book that was published in 1966. But looks way older than that. The condition of it is really quite like, wow. It's delicate. It smells like horrible old book, that really vanilla-y smell again. In the same sort of old hardback series, we have also got Naughty Amelia Jane, again by Enid Blyton. This again was my mum's, which she passed on to me, and was published in 1969. And oh my lord, this has seen better days. Look at the state of these pages. This is a battered book. Then in the same series we have got Amelia Jane again by Enid Blyton. And this one, oh, I don't like the feeling of the cover of this one. When was this one published? It'll be newer than the other one though, as this one's a sequel, but yeah, old. I'm not sure what member of the family I inherited this old beast from. It's a bit bent. It's definitely seen better days. But this is Diana of Cliffend School by May Sullivan. And this was published in 1947. It's looking quite good for it though, and they've used different paper, so it's not like all yellowing and whatnot. It's quite thick. Next we've got Party Frock by Noel Streatfeild. And this was published in 1959. And this was my nan's book, and it's not looking in too bad condition overall, actually. I'm not sure if I've ever read this, whereas all the other ones I'd shown you that were old and decrepit like this, I have actually read. This one is Little Grey Pony by Hilda Bowden, and again, this is such an old book. When were you published? 1960 this was published. And it's not looking bad condition. They've used quite thick paper for it. It's doing good. Next we have got The Other House by Elizabeth Batt. And this one's quite a smooth cover compared to the other ones. This one was published in 1960 and again has thicker paper and seems in a lot better condition than the other ones were. I've read this one. I think I read this one a few times when I was younger. It would probably appeal to me more because it's really short. It's like 80 pages. Next we have Day Shift by Charlene Harris. This is the author that wrote the Sookie Stackhouse books, and if I remember correctly, this is the second book in a series. I think I listened to the first one on audio and then read this one as the follow-up, and I didn't like either of them at all. But I won this in a Goodreads giveaway, and I quite like the cover. So even though I didn't like it that much, I thought I'd keep it. Next we have here this gorgeous edition of Victorian Fairy Tales, edited by Michael Newton. And I just really love this. It's got a silver ribbon, and it's just got gorgeous little images in it. This is a really, really lovely book. And again, this one was another one that I won in a Goodreads giveaway. Then we have here City of Silk and Steel by Mike Carey, Linda Carey and Louise Carey. And I won this one in a Goodreads giveaway too. I've never read it. Not entirely sure what it's about anymore. And finally, in this shelf, we have got All We Shall Know by Donal Ryan. Luke got me this again. It was another one where he wasn't sure what to buy me, so he cheated and asked Aoife what sort of books I'd been interested in that she'd read that year, and she told him this one. So this is only a short book, and I'm really desperate to get to it because I am very interested in it. It's not got overly small font. I feel like I could fly through this book, and I honestly don't know why I haven't started reading it yet. But I am very desperate to read it, and it'll be such a quick read when I do, so keep kicking me up the bottom to read this one. And that brings me to the end of this tour of my hardback shelf. So that wasn't too painful at all. Definitely one of the shorter tours. I really like that shelf. I think aesthetically it looks really pretty, and a lot of my favourite books are on there. So it's like my little pride and joy, that shelf. But thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe by clicking the image of me if you want to see more book reviews and other bookish content from me. And I will see you soon. Bye bye.